Good evening, everyone. It's Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. Let me just remove this banner, and I should be right there with you. Good evening, everyone. That's Dr. Shiva Ayyadurai. Sorry about that little technical glitch. Anyway, welcome. It is Friday. Hope everyone's doing well wherever you are in the world. It may be Saturday some places. But today, I want to give a preview. It's going to be a quick preview. I know people are probably just getting home from work or on your way to family, but I'm just going to take about 15 minutes. Very short video today. I'm going to give you a preview of a summit that we're holding tomorrow, Saturday, July 16th at 11 a.m. It is Truth, Freedom, Health Summit that we do. It's a system science presentation. Every 6 weeks, typically bi-monthly, we try to do a intensive seminar on an important topic. For example, several months ago, we did one on what is artificial intelligence, another one on computational systems biology. We did one on gun violence. We did one on antivirals. And the topics on these are very potent topics. Some of them, the censors may not cut us off, even though it's basic science. But we also choose it to do as a special gift to our Truth, Freedom, and Health warriors. As many of you know, we have created a global movement of close to now 500,000 people all over the world, and hundreds of millions of people who know about the movement, but people who've touched us, joined into our mailing list, or been part of the Warrior Program or the Supporter Program, and I can talk more about that. But for the Warrior Scholars, we try to do a bi-monthly event where they get deeper training. And we take a topic that's very valuable to people. So we're going to be talking about cannabis. And the title is going to be The Whole Truth, the Reality versus the Hype. So what I'm going to do today is give you a short preview of what we're going to be discussing Saturday. For those of you who are not Warrior Scholars, it's an opportunity for you to sign up. And there's so many benefits that you get. I'll share with you some of what those are shortly. And those of you who are Warrior Scholars, it's a way for you to get back involved and reconnect. We have a lot of alumni out there all over the world. But again, the discussion is going to be cannabis, the whole truth, reality versus hype. And again, it's tomorrow, July 16th at 11 a.m. EST. So what are we going to talk about? Well, at a very high level, I'll just, I don't have time to go through that. It's going to be probably about a 2 to 3 hour event. What we're going to talk about is taking a non-reductionist approach to look at cannabis. And this takes first of all, it takes a lot of courage, and it also takes a lot of science to do that. Again, those of you who are joining new, this Saturday, there's going to be a lecture series, July 16th, which is tomorrow, Saturday at 11. And it's going to be Cannabis, the Whole Truth, Reality versus Hype. And it's free to all of our Truth, Freedom, Health Warrior Scholars. Those of you who are not scholars, maybe a good incentive for you to want to sign up. We're going to be covering a number of topics, a lot of topics, and I'll go through these. Here's some of them. But we're going to be answering many, many questions, from the origins of cannabis to, is it work for everyone, or what does the body create, to how does cannabis cause cancer? Is it a gateway drug to, is it mellow out everyone? Does it make you violent? We're gonna talk about a bunch of things. But in discussing this, as you know, we don't take a pro-cannabis or an anti-cannabis. We don't take a pro or anti view, just like we don't take a left or right view. We think these are very, very backward ways of looking at the world. We want to take a systems approach. And to give you an insight into that, this diagram will help. This is the non-systems approach. This is what I call the blind man approach. Some of you may know of this story, which I've referred to a lot, of the Buddha, the enlightened one, who tells a story of a king who brings in 6 blind men. And an elephant comes in, and the 6 blind men each touch different parts of the elephant. The guy who touches bumps into the leg of it, thinks it's a oak tree. The guy who touches a tail thinks it's a brush. The guy who touches a tusk thinks it's a spear. The guy who touches the trunk thinks it's a snake, and so on. But the reality is none of these people get a whole view. In fact, they get a blinded view of reality. And if they were to all sit together, they'd probably get some wacky looking animal or object, okay? So this is called a reductionist approach that takes place in everything. In the media puts it forward, the government puts it forward, the politicians, but it is the system science which can save, in my view, humanity out of this frankly, madness that's taking place. And it's a nightmare of corruption. It's a nightmare of distraction. It's a nightmare of division being caused by the left and the right. And everyday people get caught in the middle because they haven't been educated in a systems approach. They've been told what to think, but not how to think. So we take that systems approach in the talk that we'll be doing this Saturday. And if you think about it, right, there's sort of two views, the anti-cannabis view and the pro-cannabis view. I mean, the pro-cannabis view is cannabis cures everything. Do as much of it as you want. It's not going to harm you. It's a wonderful thing. Eat as much, smoke as much. It's great. It cures this, it cures that. It'll cure anything. Okay, that's one view. Another view is the anti-cannabis view, right? And this comes from a book that was written called Reefer Madness. And it's talking, is a whole craze that took place, really very, very racist in some ways, very anti-cannabis in other ways, but it really was a very ascientific. And so the issue is, which way do we go? Do we go pro-cannabis or anti-cannabis, right? Or which is the way? Well, the problem is most of the medical doctors don't have any sound guidelines for cannabis at all. And the cannabis quote unquote experts always give conflicting advice, and the media coverage is always exaggerated and hyperbole. Cannabis is bad or cannabis is a cure-all, okay? So this is a world we live in. We live in this world of pro and anti. And you can't make any headway out of that because you don't have any framework. It depends on where your ears go or where your eyeballs are for enough period that you get swayed one way or the other, and two groups of people are fighting against each other. Well, at VA Shiva, we take a systems approach. Many of you know we don't like to take this pro-anti approach. And that systems approach, those of you who want to find out, go to vashiva.com/join. And I am hoping that all of you, for your own sake, will become Truth, Freedom, and Health Warrior Scholars so you can take the systems approach. If you go to vashiva.com/join, there's a video, and I'm going to play one of it right now. Some of you are new, to give you my journey to systems, and we'll come right back because I really want to share with you what we're going to be covering at this conference, because when you see the range of stuff, it's probably going to excite you. First of all, if you're Warrior Scholars, it's free, and those of you who are not, to hopefully become one. But let me just share with you my journey to systems. Welcome to VA Shiva. VA Shiva is a product of my journey across East and West, science and tradition, ancient and modern, that brings you the science of systems so you can become a force for truth, freedom, health. VA Shiva is a platform of revolutionary education, community building, and weaponry for unleashing local activism. My journey to VA Shiva begins in the chaos of Bombay, where I experienced diverse religions, languages, castes, and in a small village that had no running water, no electricity, where my grandmother, a poor village farmer, practiced Siddha, an ancient system of Indian medicine over 10,000 years old. She observed one's face, the art of Samudrika Lakshanam, to understand a body's unique constitution, allowing her to deliver the right medicine for the right person at the right time. Watching my grandmother heal others, I was inspired to study medicine, but I was also aware of the corrupt caste system of India, which denigrated a human being, where my family were considered low-caste untouchables, where one's birth determined one's destiny. The grit and determination of my mother and father led them to get educated and to come to America, a 1 in a trillion event. Their actions inspired me to work hard and excel. While in 9th grade, I attended New York University in a computer science program, and subsequently, at the age of 14, was given a full-time job as a research fellow at what is now known as Rutgers Medical School in the heart of Newark, New Jersey. There I investigated the system of sleep using mathematics, computer science, and biology for sudden infant death syndrome. It was there in Newark where I invented email, when I was the first to convert every feature of the physical, paper-based inter-office mail system, including inbox, outbox, memo, carbon copy, blind carbon copy, attachments, into its electronic equivalent, a system which I named email, a term that I was the first to coin. On August 30th, 1982, I was awarded the first U.S. copyright for the invention of this system, recognizing me as the inventor of email. At that time, copyright was the only way to protect software inventions. I went on to MIT, where I earned 4 degrees across multiple systems of engineering: electrical, mechanical, design, biological. That training led me to invent many other systems for advancing humankind. EchoMail, the world's first intelligent email management system. Cytosolve, a computational biology system for eliminating animal testing to discover new medicines faster, cheaper, and safer. And to the creation of a whole systems methodology for certifying clean food. These innovations led me back on a Fulbright to India, where I discovered the missing link between Eastern medicine and Western systems theory, honoring my grandmother, to develop Your Body, Your System, a powerful tool that will help you understand how your body is a system and how the inputs of food, supplements, and exercise bring your body back to its natural system state. And Systems Health, an integrative educational discipline that is now integrated into the VA Shiva platform that will enable you to learn the science of systems, the science of everything, be it your body as a system or our society and politics as a system, to reveal the foundational interrelationships between truth, freedom, health. Now is the time for you to be the light, learn the science of systems, build community, and weaponize yourself to unleash the activism necessary to deliver truth, freedom, health in your local community. Welcome to VA Shiva. Anyway, I can't overemphasize to all of you to take the Foundations of Systems course. We've made it very accessible, immensely affordable for all people. And by the way, those of you, if you go to vashiva.com, you can also contribute. As you know, I do a lot of science, a lot of lectures to educate the public, and it comes through your contributions. Just to give you a heads up on that, if you go to vashiva.com, I'm going to go right there and just share with you this. If you go to the website, right here, and let's see. If you go to the website right here, if you go to vashiva.com, okay, here we go. If you go to the website here, right here, there you can join the movement and you can contribute. Let me explain why I'm showing the contribute button, not to ask you guys for money, but to let you know what you can get, which I haven't shared. Everyone keeps telling me you got to share this, Dr. Shiva. But if you go here, whatever, you can contribute to all the stuff that we're doing, the videos that we do. But I never like to take anything for nothing, but you can contribute $1, whatever you want. But when you contribute 100 or more, you get the entire course and all these gifts, books, papers, everything. And if you contribute 25 to 99, you get a whole bunch of other things. So please do that. If you don't want to take the course and you just want to support everything we're doing, you're welcome to go do that. All right. So right off the vashiva.com site, or let me just put this banner here, which I created a couple of days ago there. You can go to vashiva.com/contribute. All right. So let me get back here. So what are we going to be talking about this weekend is in our conference. We're going to answer many, many questions. By the way, you can go register, but we're really going to be able to talk about from a truth, freedom, and health perspective. That's how we take a view. So we're going to look at the many things that attack the scientific discourse on cannabis, on either way. We're going to talk about the science, the truth, and then we're going to talk about its effect on health, positive and negative. And again, this is going to be tomorrow, Saturday, July 16th at 11 a.m. And everyone here, it's free for Truth, Freedom, and Health Warriors. And I encourage all of you to join. You don't want to miss this. I think you're going to learn a lot. Go to vashiva.com/join to join as a warrior. By the way, those of you who also just want to learn more, every Thursdays at 11 a.m. and 8 p.m., I host an open house. And they have lots of great people show up. You have a lot of chance to meet people from all over the world. If you think, oh my God, the world's going to hell, I'm so confused, you'll get very, very inspired at seeing there's a lot of people who are coming to our movement for truth, freedom, and health. So please join us there. So let's remember that everything we're doing is to learn how to think, not what to think. And we combine the science of systems and we bridge East and West. Okay. So what are we going to cover at this summit? Well, first of all, we're going to really go deeply into the origins of cannabis. Like, how was it used? Where does it come from? There's all sorts of theories. The Lord Shiva smoked it. Hindus love to have cannabis. Is it true or not? You'll find that out. How much of that is true versus mythology. You're going to learn what's in cannabis. Okay. What is actually in cannabis? How many molecules? And is it just THC? You probably hear about THC. You're going to find out that there's many, many molecules. When we talk about cannabis, it's not just the THC molecule that people have made a lot of hype about. So that's the next question, okay? We're going to go into a little bit of the history. This is just a quick preview of one of the hundreds of slides we're going to cover in the data, but we're going to talk about it. Dates back 11,700 years. Its first evidence was found in Southeast Asia. That's over 10,000 years ago. And it's been used in many, many ancient societies in India, Egypt, China, Greece, for various uses: spiritual, household, for ropes, fiber, clothing, the hemp, pain, anxiety, recreational use. The key thing to remember is, yes, it's been used, but how much? What strain? Where did it come from? What did they take? So without that knowledge, it can easily fall into the realm of reality or myth. And that's what we want to cover, because without this knowledge, people could get manipulated by different forces in different ways. In addition to that, we want to talk about what are the strains, okay? What are strains, first of all? What are strains of cannabis? And you're going to see a relationship between the strains of cannabis and the molecular structure and profile of it, okay? Then we want to go into detail as what's the endocannabinoid system. For the last about 5 years, Cytosolve has been mapping out the endocannabinoid system. Well, what is it? You're going to understand that we ourselves, within our own body, we have the ability to produce cannabis within our cannabinoids in our own body and consume it. So then obviously it brings up the question, well, why are we taking stuff exogenously? Okay. For example, your body makes testosterone, right? Over time, testosterone's level deplete. There's some people say you should take testosterone. We got to be very careful with that, because you can alter many, many other types of variables. You can also create cancer with testosterone over, the growth hormones. So these are very profound questions, because we actually have a endocannabinoid system within our own body, and you're going to understand what that is. What is a cannabinoid? Okay, you hear about it. What is it? Is there one molecule? Is there 10? Is there 20? And we'll understand that. Does a body create cannabinoids? Okay, it's a very important question. Just like, does a body create testosterone? And you'll learn about that. And how does it do it? What are the molecular processes? You're by the time you're done with this class tomorrow, you're going to get the legal analysis of it, the economic analysis, the molecular systems analysis, the biochemical analysis. You're going to learn a lot. Okay, so again, that's tomorrow. Now, the next question: do humans need cannabis? Should everyone, quote unquote, smoke weed? There's people who believe everyone should be on it. I have people that I know, hey, you got to have it. You got to have it. Hey, this is the best thing since sliced bread. Okay. Next is the cannabis of today the same as the cannabis of the 1960s or before? So when someone just sent me a video saying, oh yeah, the Hindus used to have it. They believed it was helping everything. Well, which strain? What did they have? All of it, some of it, etc. Okay. Is it a panacea? Is it a cure-all? There's people running around saying it'll cure this, it'll cure that. Whatever you have, it'll cure. Is that true? Okay. Then the next thing we want to talk about is issues to consider. Who should consume it and how it affects people in different stages? Whether, a mother smoking or ingesting it, how does it affect the child? Early development, how does it affect people between the age of, let's say, 5 to 15, or 0 to 8, and then teenage years, right? 12 to 15 or 18, and then adulthood. It varies significantly, and you're gonna learn a lot about this, okay? Next is oops, I'm sorry. I'm not sharing. Very sorry there. This is the slide I was sharing over here. Let me go back to this. I was sharing this slide. Is it a panacea cure-all? But I was also sharing that this slide about when is it consumed? How will it affect different people at different stages of development? Again, extremely important to understand, okay? Remember, one of the goals in science is nothing is about this is good or bad, or you have to do this or this. One of the important questions science always brings up is how much? How much? Very much like the climate change fanatics, okay? CO2, well, how much, CO2, okay? they never really discuss this, or they never really can get into the details of this, or how much is a very, very important question, okay, in science. And how much can vary by many different variables, okay? If you're a baby, if you're a young child, adolescent, adulthood, okay. Someone said, until you fall asleep. This is hilarious. Okay, someone said, until you fall asleep. Okay. Next question is that we're going to discuss. You know, there's about 29,000 articles written on cannabis, over 1,100 clinical trials over nearly the last about 200 years. So there's a lot of data out there, okay? And the advantage we have is we have, as many of you know, CytoSolve. It's a technology I developed which allows us to curate all of this literature, look at it, understand the molecular pathways, congeal it all together. And CytoSolve, as many of you know, is that powerful tool that allows us to, first of all, look at the molecular mechanisms. And tomorrow we're going to share with you some of our original research, what we've done at CytoSolve, to look at those molecular pathways, particularly looking at brain function, how firing of nerves takes place. And we're going to go very deep into that so people really get an understanding, for example, how THC affects the presynaptic and postsynaptic neurons. You're going to really understand the mechanics here and why the level of THC, how much, can have significant effects. CytoSolve allows us to do that. CytoSolve allows us to model mathematically, bring together vast amount of knowledge and get more of a holistic view. Using that, we can model things. And but there's many, many other questions we're going to answer. Before I go into more of those, some of you have been sending me emails saying, Dr. Shiva, can you share more about MV25? Some of you may know we have used CytoSolve, where we used it to model all the molecular pathways of pain. In fact, we have modeled many of the endocannabinoid pathways, and we're starting to look at some of these cannabinoids. But we recently looked at different bioflavonoids, and we found a very interesting combination. For 16 years, we've been allowing others to use CytoSolve, but most recently, we used CytoSolve to discover 2-3 very powerful combinations right here that we put into our own product. I never thought I'd be, advancing our own supplements. We've helped others validate, but this is something I think some of you may find very valuable. I'm just going to take a quick break because I need to get a little glass of water. And let me just play this so you'll all understand what is MV25. And I'll come right back. We have another 10 or 15 items we're going to cover in tomorrow's lecture, and I want you to know about all of that.
Millions of people suffer every day from painful discomfort and swelling, but most pain medications come with harsh side effects, and many alternative supplements have little scientific backing. That's why we at CytoSolve created MV25. MV25 was formulated using the CytoSolve Computational Systems Biology Platform, a technology for precision and personalized health invented by Dr. Shiva during his doctoral research at MIT. This formulation is the result of computing trillions of potential combinations of biomolecular interactions derived from thousands of peer-reviewed scientific papers published across 4 decades by 68 research institutions to discover an optimal synergy of compounds that downregulate biomarkers of discomfort and normal swelling.
Hi, I'm Barbara Ann. My hands would cramp up so that I couldn't hold cards or knit or crochet, and they would go like that. And I'd have to use this when I played cards with my grandkids. And I started taking that MV25. After a bit, I was able to hold cards in my hand, very, very little cramping, hardly at all anymore. MV25.
Hi, my name is Sandy. I'm a Taekwondo instructor. I tore my ACL during Taekwondo. I had a lot of pain and limited mobility. I've been taking the MV25 for about 6 months now. After the first week, I noticed a big difference. After the second week, almost literally no pain.
My name is Jeremy, and I suffer from a lower back problem. Hurt my back at work years ago, and I can go to the chiropractor, do all kinds of different things, and nothing seems to help. And I decided to try MV25. I didn't notice a difference immediately, but within a few days, the pain went away, and it stayed away. I've continued to take it, and even when I do things that I shouldn't do, it seems to go away a lot quicker than it ever did before.
MV25 is certified clean, 100% non-GMO, made in America, and GMP certified for good manufacturing practices. MV25 is CytoSolve optimized, which means that this formula has been engineered to maximize benefits while minimizing toxicity based on current research curated by CytoSolve. As the science advances, so will this formulation. This is our promise. Order online at mv25.life. Consult your doctor before taking any supplement or medication and use as directed. MV25.
All right, everyone. So, by the way, those of you who want to know, you can just go right onto the website. You can find it. You can go right up to vashiva.com, the shop, and you can get it right there. Okay. Anyway, you can find it. One of the things we're going to also discuss tomorrow is the need to take a whole systems approach of the body. One of the things that we have offered to people in the systems approach is to seeing the body as a whole. Now, everyone talks about that, but how do you practically do that? So for that, I've created a tool which is accessible for all of you as warrior scholars called Your Body, Your System. And we're going to be using tomorrow Your Body, Your System to actually analyze cannabis. So the tool allows you, because, the reality is, it's like people who, let's say, drink alcohol, right? There are people who drink a lot and it doesn't do anything to them. Then other people drink a little and they get drunk, right? All of us are very, very different. Our body chemistries are very different. So to say that one size fits all is wrong. Now, traditional systems of medicine figured this out. And in my research in biological engineering systems biology, I was able to go look at the ancient systems of medicine and deliver to the world a new and powerful way of looking at those systems of medicine. And I created a tool. And Your Body, Your System, it's accessible to all of you when you join as a warrior scholar. It's free. We used to charge a lot for it. It took millions of dollars to create this tool, but you can answer a set of questions and it'll figure out your body type, who you are. That's what that red dot, what kind of system you are in this triangle. Then you can answer a different set of questions and it'll figure out how you're off course from you. Okay, that's what we say, be happy, be you. That's a black dot, which is like the weather, which can vary from time to time. The black dot can be in different places. But the idea is to move the black dot to the red dot, because the red dot is when your body is functioning as it wants to, as it was designed for. So how do you do that? Well, the tool will actually figure out foods and supplements and things that it's not a medical tool. Big disclaimer here, because we can't make those claims, nor do we want to. But it is a tool that'll help you figure out how different foods, different supplements can move the force of transport, conversion, storage, how they affect you. Okay. Now, when it comes to cannabis, when you take the seminar, we'll actually take away these little sticky notes. We'll find out how cannabis affects the forces of transport, conversion, and storage. You see, in general systems theory and in traditional systems of medicine, all of us are composed of the forces of motion, the forces of conversion, or the forces of storage. In the Indian system of medicine, that was called Vata, Pitta, Kapha. And I was the first one to decipher this. It's important to recognize that, because for many, many years, thousands of years, people have been using the systems of medicine. And you ask someone, what is Vata, Pitta, Kapha? They can't really explain it until what I've done here. Okay. But using this approach, we will also in tomorrow's lecture talk about what does cannabis do to the individual. Will it increase their Vata, the Kapha? Does it destabilize them? What does it actually do from a systems approach? So this will be very valuable, also a different perspective also. All right. Then the other thing is, we're also going to talk about why was it legalized versus decriminalized? Remember, cannabis was illegal. Why was it legalized? And what does it mean to be legalized versus decriminalized? This is also important to understand from the economic issues. And what is the economic model of cannabis? how are people making money today? And what is a trajectory? Where are the trillionaires going to come out of this? And what is a trajectory of doing that? And we want to talk about that, okay? Because you want to understand where all of this is going. We're also going to talk about who gains to profit from cannabis the most. Who's going to profit the most? And also we're going to talk about who's going to lose the most, okay? Is cannabis safe? Is it addictive? Very, very important question. One wing of this issue says it's absolutely safe. It's not addictive. I can get off weed anytime I want. It's absolutely safe. Okay. That's one wing. The other wing says it's dangerous. It can hurt you and no one should touch it. Okay. And what is it genuinely good for? So what does the science say? One is people having all these feelings and anecdotal things, but what does the current science say? Okay. We want to go through that, which we will do tomorrow. Does cannabis mellow everyone out? One thesis is everyone just becomes mellowed out. No one can hurt anyone. It's puts people to sleep. Well, we're also going to talk about, does cannabis make you violent? Okay. Does it perturb certain people? Do they go off the deep end? All right. Is it just a mellow thing or can it make people violent? And if so, who? And what happens when you mix cannabis and alcohol? A lot of very, very interesting data that's come out on this. Okay. Is cannabis a gateway drug? Now, someone just put here, no documented cases of cannabis death. Okay. We'll talk about that too. All right. Is that true? All right. Is cannabis a gateway drug? One group says it is, and other people say, no, it's absolutely not a gateway drug. Okay. Again, we're going to go over the reality and the hype of this. And does cannabis cause cancer? Another very, very important question. All right. So, let me go back here. So we're going to go back here. So these are all the different questions we're going to cover. So not only this, we have a previous page. We're going to cover a ton of area tomorrow. So those of you who are Truth Freedom Health scholars, I really look forward to reconnecting with you. And someone says, have I tried cannabis? I'll answer that question tomorrow. So if that incents you, come and join and I'll tell you what if I've done it and what my experience was. All right. And then important thing is, I just want to emphasize, it is tomorrow, July 16th, 2022 at 11 a.m. Saturday. Please join us. It's free to all of our Truth Freedom Health Warrior scholars. I encourage all of you who are not scholars to join. Again, we're going to be covering all of these issues as I just went through. It's going to be a summit. We'll have it. We'll take a break. We'll come back. We'll take 2 breaks, but it's going to be a lot. Okay. That's what we're going to cover. Again, those of you who want to become warrior scholars, go to vashiva.com/join. And I look forward to you joining. Again, what we're going to cover tomorrow, for some people, it's going to be very controversial, but we don't take a pro-cannabis and anti-cannabis view. We look at the science, we take a systems approach, and I encourage all of you to also take a systems approach. Go join vashiva.com. Come to our open house, as I've mentioned, and you can go right over to vashiva.com to do that. Again, just to give you the date, tomorrow, Saturday, July 16th at 11 a.m., we will be having the Truth Freedom Health Summit on cannabis, the whole truth, the reality versus the hype. And those of you who are not warrior scholars, as I reminded you, if you contribute to our movement, you get a lot of gifts. You get to also become a warrior scholar. And I look forward you to being that. Let me just look at any of the comments here. Let me just put up the comments, any interesting ones we have here. Someone says interesting subject. Yep, it's going to be an interesting subject. Someone says they like all the topics we're going to cover. Absolutely, very little hard research. We're going to share with you a lot of hard research. Someone says your dosage is the key. Glenn is right on the money. Dosage is the key. And one man's poison is another man's, cure-all. Again, here's dose related. Someone else says we'll be covering all of that. This is hilarious. Mango Spawn says, can we do crack next? Asking for Hunter Biden. Okay. Someone says, today I heard a 40-year-old psychiatrist said that marijuana was not good for the brain. She has seen many cases of mental deterioration. Yes. Look, it's a very important point. Again, there are many interesting issues like this. Again, I don't want to give it away. We're going to talk about it tomorrow, okay? But it's a very interesting point that is made here. Someone says, I make medical cannabis products in small cases, so it should be allowed for under 21. It is medicine, but must be used properly. Bub nailed it. Bub Wilcox, you nailed it, okay? Very, very prudent, okay? Very prudent. Someone says, overdosed is always shit. Okay. Bob Digital says it's called indica and sativa. Sativa is like drinking coffee. If you take too much, you can get anxious. Thanks, Bob. One of the things we're going to discuss, Bob, tomorrow is that based on the molecular profile, you know, you get all different varieties, and that's what contributes to the different strains. We'll talk about that. Jamie says, remember, this is not pro versus anti. It's education. Thanks, Jamie. Someone says hemp has a lot of practical uses. Definitely. Tomorrow we'll also discuss, based on research, how it was used in India several hundred years ago and some of the side effects that also happen in India. Okay. Let's see. So I'm not sure what Bobby Digital means by this. All these nerds talking about what it does to you. Have you ever never smoked? Wake the F up. Pharma had brainwashed you. Okay, interesting. Someone said, I worked at Brigham and Women's thoracic surgery. I never heard of a death from cannabis. That's Audrey Durham. Someone says CBD may also be anti-inflammatory. Very curious to see how that works systemically. Yeah. So one of the things, Glenn, is there are, as we'll talk tomorrow, there's many different CBDs. Okay. It's not just one. All right. Again, we need to recognize that someone said this is a medicine also. Crystal says, I never heard anyone say they knew someone who died from cannabis. Okay. All right. So we have a lot of different, JM says very wisely, one size fits all is definitely wrong. All right. Well, anyway, I have all of you join tomorrow. I think you're going to find it very valuable. And this is everything we do here is to grow our movement for truth, freedom, and health, where we take a systems approach. Our goal is here is to educate people. Our goal is to not cubbyhole people. Our goal is to not be in this pro or anti camp, but we really want to get down and find out what the reality is. And guess what the reality is? The reality is more real than the hype. The hype is easy to do, frankly. The hype is essentially for adolescents. The reality is for adults. So I hope all of you join us tomorrow and get a dose of reality, and we can have discourse and we can do some real science and we can all move forward in our lives. Anyway, be the light. Join us tomorrow and go to truthfreedomhealth.com. You can contribute right on the website if you support all the videos that we're doing and you want to help out and help yourself, by the way. But most importantly, do it for yourself. Become a Truth, Freedom, and Health warrior and learn the science of systems. Be well, everyone. Have a good weekend.